illegal. Several hundred Fort Campbell soldiers are in Central America helping with the hurricane relief effort. News Channel 5's Jennifer Krause and the photographer Mark Martin spent nearly 2 weeks with the 101st. Tonight, we go along on a mission to see how our local troops are making a big difference.
Hurricane Mitch took its toll on both the land and the people of Nicaragua. The storm caused massive flooding in northern Nicaragua along the Coco River, or as they call it here, El Rio Coco.
The whole Rio Coco just did a power flood as the water came out of the mountains. It just doubled in size and took everything that was close to the river with it.
It was the worst flooding the people along here had ever seen.
Ahora con este fenómeno natural del Mitch.
This man says Mitch affected everyone living along the river. That's nearly 30,000 people, most of them Mesquite Indians. And more than a month after the hurricane, they still hadn't gotten any sort of help. Until now. Until Fort Campbell soldiers could deliver these supplies to them in one of the most remote and isolated parts of the country.
This is where we're going to?
Even the Fort Campbell crews were a little concerned about whether we'd have enough gas to make it there and back. From Managua, it takes nearly 2 hours to get there. You have to fly over triple canopy jungle. There's nothing but trees and more trees. Our first stop was the village of Waspam. The conditions here are primitive. The people live in small shacks. The children wear torn and dirty clothing, if anything at all. These people are farmers, but the flooding washed it all away.
Arroz, maíz, de todos.
This man says their rice and corn crops are all gone. Now there is nothing.
No hay nada.
They have nothing to eat, he says. So these children are all going hungry. That's why what's in these boxes is so important. Nearly 20,000 pounds of relief supplies. Food, water, and medicine that will be distributed among the people here.
You just really don't appreciate what you have until you see something like this. And it makes you feel good to be able to do something for these people and to see how appreciative they are and everything.
Our next stop was San Carlos. The only place to land was in the middle of a cow pasture. The people here in San Carlos were just as desperate as the people in Waspam. This man told me the flooding had washed away several houses here, and of course, all of the crops.
Arroz, frijoles.
Rice, beans, corn, sugar. This man says the basic staples here all are gone, and now hunger is rampant. Soon after we landed, a dozen or so men began unloading the helicopter, passing the boxes out one by one, and hauling out giant sacks of beans. As dozens of young children watched.
Thanks to all these boxes of food the people can eat now, and because of these bags of bean seeds, they'll be able to eat later. They can plant these seeds and they'll have food for months to come.
When everything was out of the helicopter, Chief Warrant Officer Todd McElmurray pulled out his harmonica, sat on the back ramp, and began to play. And for a moment, it didn't matter that McElmurray only spoke English and the people here only Spanish. The only thing that mattered was that these people needed help, and these Fort Campbell soldiers were here to help them.
Tomorrow night, we'll see how the soldiers from the 101st are coping with life in Central America. You'll see where and how they're living, and with Christmas just around the corner, how they're dealing with being away from their families and